actual thing is that the scene is loading behind that slider. So let's go and do that. It was in the levels. First, I need to give it a slider. Okay, and the UI has been added. So I want that to be, yeah, inside the UI slider. Make it very big. No. And I remove the handle, this circle. Mm. I can change the color of the field to, if you think that this slider is ugly, you can make your own slider as I have told you in the health system. But now, okay, this is fine. And I want that a background would show on top of that. So here I add the image and I call it, okay, PG load. And I place it here between them. And it should have this shape and make it bigger. Put the slider down. And I make it a little bit dimmer. So that would stand out. Okay, now we have that, and the rest of that is with doing the code. But right now, that is invisible. That is deactivated. So make sure that you deactivate that. So let me give that to the code as well. And it says serialize field, private, game object, loading, sim, oh no, loading PG. And now I want to save the value that has been saved inside the game. For example, maybe the player has finished. Let me go there. This in. We have to say, okay, the player has finished level 1 or 2 or 3. So if the player has finished this and this, then only the bottom of 1 and 2 is activated. The 3 should be locked. And for example, I don't want to go there. I put the, no, it's not UI. I have made a finishing, for example, point, which is this bonfire. Oh, I can't see that. That's when the player just get to that. Um, the scene is, for example, the level has been completed and I can change the scene. And I want to give this some fire. As you saw here, this. Mm, Go to prefab, train. Let me give. You can save as variants, but I don't want. Say join the fire. So usually the bonfire doesn't have the fire. I want that when a player gets to there, this fire would be activated. So I give it a collider. And I give it a code, script. For example, that is a finish line, finish point. This is where it saves also the levels that we have unlocked. So we delete that, and I just want to say that on, let's make it a trigger. On trigger enter 2D, if collision.schemeObject.compare tag is player, then let's see serialized field private scheme object fire. Okay, the fire that's set active true. So the fire would be activated. So we usually know that something is happening. And you want to have, for example, save the game inside the uh, player pref. Also, I want that when the player gets there, he doesn't move. So it just stay there still. So we have something that we had before. I think it was in the dialogue, and we say deactivate the player input. We only need this one because in the next scene it will automatically will be activated. So let's fill private player input, and yes, something like this. There are some other ways. For example, you can make the rigid body a static so it wouldn't move. But I just use this simple way. Just do that. And I want that we have another function, private void unlock next, for example, next level. When the player enter to that, we want that, okay, the next level will be open for us. So we have to somehow check that if the integer, if we are already in this scene, what is the index of that scene? Okay, then we get that, and then say plus one. For example, if we are in the scene 2, plus 1 is 3, so we save the number 3. and the number 3 will be unlocked. So here I say using Unity Engine, that's scene management. I say int level, the level that we are in, and let's say scene manager dot get active scene dot that's build index. It means the index that we're already in. For example, now we are in number 1. And then we say if the level, for example, is 1, because sometimes you want to play the previous levels. For example, we are in level 10, we want to go and play level 1. So we don't want that the most unlocked level be, for example, number 2. So we have to check if the level that we are in is more than what we already have unlocked in the whole entire game. For example, we saved it in the player path that gets and we give it a name. For example, levels, which by default is 0, but we don't give it that. If it is more than that we have unlocked, then do this. Else, no, do not change that. Do not change this. So as you want to open the next level, so we say, okay, then player pref that sets int this um, this level. Yes, the level we are in, for example, we are in 1, we want to unlock the next one. So you say level plus 1. So the next one would be unlocked and showed in the scene that had the bottom, or it was related to levels. So we have that, and we add it here. And something else that we want to do is that, okay, go to the next scene. Then we say private void. As it's just want to go, so you can make that, okay, it goes to the next level. But in our case, I want that, okay, it goes to level scene. Something that we had, there was buttons for loading the levels. Private void, for example, go to level scene. And just that. Okay, so when the player gets here, these things happen. But before that, because I don't want to change the this one, that before I want to change the index, I want to show you the level one, what we should do. So yeah, we get a slider, we give it the BG, and now we give it a series of buttons, private button, array of them, and say call them BTN. And when the level starts, I want that it only shows the. At first, it would be all of them would be deactivated, and then it shows something, the buttons that are related to the scenes that I have unlocked. So I say for so all of them btn I that interactable is false. You cannot press on that, and only there here, only uh, the bottom should be open, or I can click on that the level has been unlocked. So here I say int open levels is this levels, and the default is 1 because at first we want that level 1 would be unlocked, and is less than that, uh, then we want that they are true. We can interact with them. The bottom is activated. So now let's go and see. uh, and I also need to give that the bottoms in the inspector. And then I do the function for when I click on the bottom, something happened. Public void. Um, for example, I say load the scene, and then I give it an index, int index. The index related to the bottom and the scene that it will open. So here you want to load scene, but not directly say, okay, load the scene as we had here. That's why we had this slider and things. So you want to load asynchronously. Um, so that the scene would be loaded beneath um, the slide that beneath the BG that we show the player or slider. So I say private enumerator, and for example I say load a yeah, asynchronously. So, yes, we need the index because this one be an index. First, I want that this, which has been deactivated, it becomes activated. Set active is true. And then you know the BG that we had for the slider. And then these are the code that you have to kind of part of the memorizing. So don't worry if you don't understand them. So asynchronous operation. Damn, I just yes, operation OP is equal to scene manager. Scene dot yes load sync async, and the index that we have. What? Okay, and then here we say if the OP dot is done, it is still not finished and we are in the progress of loading, then we want that our slider moves according to whatever that it is. Let's see, float progress amount. Okay, how much it has been completed method dot clamped. So it will be between the uh, clamps, as you see here. It returns a value between 1 and 0 and 1, something that we use for the slider. Then we say op dot progress 9f. We do that because if the progress bar is, if you don't do that, the progress bar would be filled to 90%, and then because those remaining 10% are for the internal loading of the Unity. So if you don't use this, the bar, the slider just shows that is filled to up to 90%. We do that so it shows the 100% and the player are not confused. That's it. It's not important to know. Just know, okay, that we have to do this. Now we say slider. Let's value is the progress amount, and you say okay, yield return null. It causes that the quarantine, for example, this thing are done in every frame. If you don't do that, the game kind of freezes because this process is very heavy. So the Unity can do other things as well. And I say start quarantine because there are important things to memorize and learn. And okay, say load async and this index. So we would do that. Now I also should give this to every buttons. You can make this documentation for yourself so you know that you have to also give it to every button that you have in the scene. You have to go to the levels and the slider. mm, the load, this is here, and the slider is this. And how many buttons for now we have? Imagine that we have three, yes, three buttons. And I drag and drop them, each of them here. 2, 3. And now for each of them, I have to give the function to open the new scene. So it's unclick the panel. The first one, okay, this is load ice. Load scene. Okay, you open the first scene. The index is, if I want to show you here, if I press on the bottom one, it should load index 1, which is the scene 1. And 2, load scene 2, load scene 3. As you see, I only had once in the first one that was in the get int. These are not um, intractable, only this. So now I go, do you see that bar? As the game is 2D, and it's not very heavy, it didn't really take lots of time, or maybe it's because it is PC and very powerful. So I go there and I get there when nothing happens. I think I didn't give you the code. Yeah. So it is finish point. The fire prefab is train, and the player input is place. And I also just want to give it a delay. It was here. Yeah, it triggers to that. This is done, but this. So I say I don't want that immediately it goes to next level. I just say, okay, this. Do this after 2 seconds. So it goes to the menu levels. Oh damn! Just what was I saying? You should not give this. Sometimes when I want to be fast, I do stupid mistakes. So now let's go and try that. So I get in there. It waits for 2 seconds. Okay, now the level 2 has been unlocked. And I should also put this on level 2, and it does the same thing. It will unlock the level 3. Okay, I somehow I think I was wrong and drag and drop this here, but they have to drag and drop this. And yes, here it will work. And the fire is lit. And you see, this is again is 2. Because we had, that's why we had this condition for finish. Yes, if it is more than that. Now, but if I go to level 2 and put this there, then the level 3 will be unlocked. So, and I also saved it as a prefab. So you only have this, and you just use it in different places of your game. You put in different levels, and you can also add a sound that's when it's collides so that it adds sound. So I am in the next scene. This you see the number, and I've added this prefab here. So now let's see if it can unlock the third level or not. So I go there. Okay, this should be more or equal. Because maybe I'm playing the same scene. Then I have to use that. Okay, so now let's go and play the game. Now the third one is already open. So okay, that is the next scene. You can add also add more levels and put it there. Now something that I want to do is that um, let's make the icon for the menu because maybe you're in the game you want to exit. UI in-game menu. Do remember that we made the player to be a prefab. So delete that and put your uh, this here. And again, go to canvas and give your main camera. And then as it is a prefab, then you have to go here to make things, to change things. So that's if you have player in every scene, all of them would be changed. We go to the canvas here, and I think it was in this panel convert menu, and I want to make another button, and which is the btn menu, right? And there is art UI. And set native size. I have to say it's something like that. In-game menu. And then on click of that, I want to do something. But for now, let me also make the menu that is responsible for making me the quit or something. So I make another panel, um, UI panel, You can make it very big, so although we want to make the color to faint, but the player cannot click on anything here if the because this overlaps other panels, and the player cannot click on this and this and this because there's already another panel opened there. If you don't believe me, okay, yes, decrease opacity and then go and play the game. Can I open that? No, I can't move because there's already a panel. Now we had an RTUI menu, in-game menu. Okay, make a image for BG, and you have buttons here. For example, button nothing, just continue the game. And another button for, I don't know if you have some other options here. Um, you can exit the game. I mean, completely exit from the game, or just um, go to main menu. Okay, menu. Something like that. Um, you can even pause the game. To pause the game, you should make the timer scale to 0. But here we have this. When you press on the continue, it just closes this, and you go and okay, continue the game, the main menu, and these are just like self-explanatory. So now let's go and make the code, and I give the code um, to the panel in menu game. I also give this because I don't want to make two scripts. Okay, so I say serialized field private game object, mm, the menu that has been opened, and yes, and I now give start to write my things. Okay, public um, void open menu. It's just something that I give to the icon. I can make the menu that's set active true because usually it's false because we don't want that always that damn menu will be open. And if I say continue the game, continue the game, so I give it the continue button, um, then the menu would be deactivated, false, and also we can also add another button for adding this. But so it exit should be this, and another one that it goes to main menu. that it has to go to scene, main menu. So now let's go and add this to our game. So it was the panel. Yes, you're yourself the panel. And on click, we add this and we go to in-game menu, but for the okay, exit the game. And also for this icon, the menu is this. An on-click function, as it also has the code, so I say open menu. Yes. At first, this is panel. At first, this is not active. Let's go play the game. I click on that, this will be opened. If I say continue, it will just return. And the good thing is that you cannot click anywhere. If you say exit, it doesn't show anything in the PC. So you have to test that on the mobile. So main menu, or you can make some simulator, download the simulators and test that. But here it doesn't work. The main menu, okay, it just goes to main menu. Play 3, okay. So these are all connected and they work properly.